regulation. Well, you know, let's have a little bit of a party first as a gentleman's club. Far from becoming accustomed to my workload as president, I often felt more and more snowed under as the weeks passed. It had been ages since I had any time to myself. I was starting to lose my focus, and my temper was growing increasingly thin. Peter was the first to realize that I needed a break. After much cajoling, he finally persuaded me to come to a meeting at his new venture, the Gentleman's Club. For the past few months, he had been hosting a salon of sorts, not just for politicians and businessmen, but also for artists, entertainers, people of taste, he told me with a smile on his face. There's only one rule: no wives or girlfriends allowed, hence the name. And so I found myself in front of his new luxury villa in Elroy. Very loud jazz music emanated from inside. I waited and waited, and finally Peter opened the door. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. Anton! Finally! Now the real party can start. Come on in! As soon as I entered, Peter closed the door and turned to the small crowd. Gentlemen! I need like a glass. Gentlemen! A minute of your time, please. I now have the privilege to present to you the man himself, the 4th president of Sordland, Mr. Anton Rayne. I known him for long enough to understand that he was more than a little drunk. He made an elaborate mock curtsy as I passed him and walked into the room. The music stopped, and I felt everybody's eyes on me. What an asshole thing to say. Thank you, Peter. What's next? A choir? A marching band? No, I'm saving those for your funeral. Peter laughed very hard at his own grim joke before continuing. See, I told you the gun's going to be used to kill me, and it's going to be Peter that's going to do it. Dear members, please give a warm welcome to our very special guest. If I may, Anton, here, take this. He handed me a glass of whiskey, and he put his hand on my shoulder. We all know why we've gathered here tonight. To celebrate life. To have a brief escape from our tumultuous professions. I personally don't know any better cure for stress than a little drink. You know what? I'll drink to that. People in the crowd laughed and raised their glasses. Now, the tradition dictates as the club's president, I have to remind you of our house rules. There are 3. No politics, no wives, and no one sober. Cheers! Peter drank the whiskey in his glass in one go. I'll drain my glass too. Let's go. I followed suit and drained my glass. It was immediately replenished. Anton Rayne might have the power to make presidential decrees, but I've Peter Vectrin, the president of the club, now declare this party started. Music, go. Band started up again. And after greeting the crowd around me, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Let me show you around. We walked through the corridors of his mansion, statues and paintings lining the stark white walls. An arched window provided a view of the neatly manicured grounds, complete with a swimming pool. A grand lesbian marble staircase led up to the 2nd story, and Peter gestured at a massive crystal chandelier hanging overhead. How does Peter afford this? Like, this sounds really expensive. That chandelier was made in the 18th century. Can you believe it? There's even a hedge mage in the garden. Yeah, exactly, that's my question. How are you paying for all this? I'll let you in on a little secret. Gus Manager has a lot of contacts in real estate. He brokered an amazing price for me. He'll also be here tonight, by the way. I'm not surprised. Gus the wheeler and dealer will be right at home at a party like this. Okay. Well, I'm not surprised. Hell, half the guests here owe their considerable riches to him. We continued walking until we circled back to where we had started. So what do you think about my little hideaway? I mean, it's nice. But it's amazing. But I would hardly call it a hideaway. It's more like a palace. Definitely doesn't rival yours. Anyway, let's get back to the party. Peter, I don't own the Maroon Palace, okay? I just live in it for now. They'll kick me out when I lose the election. But Peter, like, you own this place. I arranged for some caviar we brought in from Lesbia. You're going to love it. He opened a door to the main hall and rejoined the other guests. The music was louder now, and the mood decisively more inebriated. Cocktail waitresses were carrying around plates of canopies, wearing dresses that left little to the imagination. I thought it was a gentleman's club. Would you rather get served by wrinkly old men? Sweetheart, over here. He waved at one of the waitresses, and she came over to us. She was in her mid-20s, wearing red lipstick, her blonde hair tied neatly up into a ponytail. On her plate were toast pointed slathered in lesbian caviar that Peter mentioned. I took a bite. It was rich, salty, tasting of pure seaside. I can almost hear the sound of the waves and the seagulls. Lesbian caviar, one of the best in the world. I'm telling you, Anton, There are few pleasures in life like this. As the waitress left us to serve another attendee, she flashed a quick smile at Peter over her shoulder. He smiled back, a little too broadly. Sensual. His eyes were still fixed on her, with an expression I remember from our many nights out together as students. Oh look, there's Gus. Why don't you go talk to him? I'll be back in a minute. Peter, I'm warning you, don't make a mistake. Mistake? What are you talking about? I'm just going to the washroom, yeah. I'll see you shortly. He left the room and I headed over to Gus. Gus' manager was standing next to a couple of men that I recognized as banking industry magnates. As I approached, all of them turned to me and bowed their heads. Mr. President! A toast to our new member, everybody. Gus and I clinked our glasses as the people around us raised theirs. How long have you been a member? Since the beginning. It's a fun gathering and quite lucrative at times. You might have heard from Peter that I arranged the deal for this mansion. He also told me that you might be interested in potential opportunities such as, this. He opened his arms, gesturing at the opulent, look how it's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a walk. The balcony has an amazing view of Elroy. We left the room and made our way to the balcony. On the way, he took out 2 cigars and held one out for me. I'll take the cigar, and started smoking it. Mixed with a taste of whiskey, it was delicious. We went out to the balcony, and all of Elroy was at our feet. From this vantage point, I was able to see how expansive the building plot was. The swimming pool and the hedge maze were visible from here. Leaning over the railing, I admired the view for a moment before Gus spoke up. I know, you're wondering about the deal Peter made. In a nutshell, thanks to my network, he was able to procure this house for half the asking price, which would have been impossible under any other circumstances. That cheap, huh? You must know that the offer price is not suitable for every client. I must have been delighted to work. I would have been delighted to work with you, but unfortunately, a deal won't be possible at this time. Not for me and my contacts, at least. I mean, why is that? There's been some issues with my business, Mr. Rayne. Nothing life or death, but the hard work I put on the canceled railway took up so much of my time that I had to postpone some projects. I'm sure you understand. I understand. He downed his whiskey. If you'll excuse me, I will go refresh my drink. I'll see you around. He left to rejoin the party. Alone on the balcony, I looked over at Elroy. Suddenly, I heard the rustling from the hedge maze below. I looked down, I saw a silhouette. 2 silhouettes, actually. So close together, they seemed to be entangled. I squinted and tried to get a better look. It was definitely 2 people kissing, but I couldn't see either of their faces. I returned to the party and spent some time mingling with the other guests, engaging them in some small talk about their businesses, their children, their relationships. I realized it had been a while since Peter left. I looked around, but I couldn't find him. Instead, my eyes landed on Edward Alfonso. With a smile, the former president walked over to meet me. Mr. President! Is that an empty glass I see in your hands? I'm trying to pace myself. Gus and I split a bottle of Rizian wine over dinner before heading here. I saw you speaking to Mr. Mancher earlier. Yeah, we talked, yeah. It's always nice to get to know one of our ministers outside of the Maroon Palace. Now we had a good chat together back in Norbel, as I recall, resulting in your very wise decision to invest Swordish money in Gulsum. We're seeing growing interest from international investors, by the way. I'm optimistic about the results of Sordland's investment. Terrific. I'm looking forward to a big payoff. I can't tell you for sure how big it'll be, but our projections are looking good. Just then, Peter came back from behind us and threw his arm around each of our shoulders. Look at you two, Sordland's bright future and its ancient past. It's been an hour. Where have you been? Another zinger. My apologies, Mr. Alfonso. My president's had a bit too much to drink. Pardon me, Mr. President, but I've had exactly enough. Mr. Alfonso, have you been enjoying my hospitality? Alfonso smiled politely. Indeed I have, Mr. Vectrin. You put together one hell of a gathering. If you excuse me, I have to go and take a quick word with the CEO of Swordish Petroleum. He's here too. What a party. Alfonso gave a brusque wave and walked off. Peter shifted his weight unsteadily. Nice guy. Shitty president, but a nice guy. Was that you in the hedge mage, Peter? What are you talking about? While you were gone, I saw two people kissing in a hedge maze outside. Huh? Probably a couple of kitchen staff getting frisky with each other. What do I even pay them for? You can tell me anything. Well, you know what? Well, if you say so. I do say so. Now, who wants a drink? Besides me, of course. He poured us 2 large glasses of whiskey, and we drank them away in one go. Throughout the party, we drank and drank, just like old times. I woke up the next day with a pounding headache and more than a few regrets. My recollections of the evening were hazy, but there was one important detail that kept coming back to me. The red lipstick on Peter's collar. Maybe my memory was playing tricks on me. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. BFF and British education in Bergia. Governor Felix Braun reports the discovery of the BFF propaganda in most schools that teach in the British language. This highlights the BFF's efforts to recruit and radicalize young people in British majority areas. The government is urged to take immediate action to address the BFF's recruitment strategies and prevent further radicalization of the young people. Governor Braun asked lawmakers to introduce a ban on the British language as a primary education language and asked the government to properly enforce the national language of Sordland to everyone. Okay, what's going on in the news? BFF poisoned Sordish schools. Governor Felix Braun's latest reports reveal a troubling development in the ongoing fight against the British Freedom Front. It has come to light that the BFF propaganda has been found in schools that teach in the British language, indicating a sinister effort to radicalize young people in British majority areas. Governor Braun's swift action in bringing attention to this issue highlights his commitment to protecting the citizens of Bergia from the BFF's harmful influence. Governor Braun also proposed to introduce a ban on the British language as a primary education language towards ensuring national unity and preventing further radicalization. He called on lawmakers to immediately draft a bill that would enforce Sordland's education to all citizens in Sordland. We believe it is essential that the government takes immediate action to address the BFF's recruitment strategies and properly enforce the national language of Sordland. Governor Braun's leadership in this matter is commendable, and we fully support his efforts to safeguard our country's security. It's like surprisingly hot in here, and I don't quite know why. Maybe I need to open up a window or something. Progressive investment in rural development. The government's decision to invest in the Groenie Rural Development Investment Plan marks a promising step towards revitalizing rural economies. This initiative is expected to strengthen food sustainability across the nation, while simultaneously uplifting agrarian communities and enhancing their livelihoods. Such a move reflects a clear recognition of the agricultural sector's critical role in driving economic growth and ensuring long-term sustainability. According to the information that we've received, President Rayne decided that he will veto the Religious Harmony Bill. The bill itself has the word harmony in it. However, don't be fooled by the name. The proposal, prepared by Kesno Kibnir, took a stab at the heart of the British populace by banning British language from being spoken at religious assemblies. And now for President Rayne, this bill would have come to pass, and every single blood should be grateful for the exemplary decision by the president. Okay, and we got police violence. After the arrest of the vice president of the Young Swords Cultural Centers, a group of teenagers started protesting in front of the Elroy Police Department, shouting, "Police are fighting for the wrong side." Within a few hours, the small protest pulled a lot of people to join it, which promoted a police force to intervene. We or our cultural organization pose no threat to the national security of Sordland, or to any other foreign country or state, the protester said, waving a flag of the Kingdom of Sordland. We have not and do not plan to engage in acts of terror or violence. The group had dispersed after the arrival of the riot police, and several arrests were made. According to reports from the scene, many protesters were beaten up by the police, with at least 20 being critically injured. That is a way worse flag, man. Get that shit out of here. Okay, so we got some more reports. Fire investigation suspended. A lack of further evidence in the investigation into the fire that occurred at the Halsworth State University archives has caused the case to be suspended until further notice from the police and the ISD. Okay. Chief of Police Carl Greshner reported that the Young Sword sympathizers, as well as several old members of the terrorist organization, are currently working for the newspaper, the Harlesword Post. Investigations are underway. Is that one of the ones that we read? Yes, it is. It's the first one here. We were in the middle of a meeting in the palace about our immigration policy. The ensuing discussion quickly became heated. I don't think so, Mr. Visky. It just doesn't make any sense to me that foreign citizens should come before a Sordish citizen in Sordland. Well said. My analysis is also in line with this, especially during the economic recession. We are giving Swordish jobs to migrants from other countries. What about our own people? Immigrants are the reason our economy is not completely unsalvageable. Look at Agnolian immigrants in England. They have revitalized the whole region and in turn boosted the economy of the entire country. Simon can attest to that. I mean, statistically speaking, allowing immigrants to become part of our workforce contributes to our economy. But I agree that the current situation is very nuanced. With that said, we can't tighten our immigration policy and expect the economy to stay the same. We need to put our economy and recession to the forefront. Gentlemen, can we please get back on topic? You're right, sorry, Mr. Visky. As I was saying before I was interrupted, looking at the superpowers, do you see them closing off their borders? Why do you think their economies are in such good shape? They are in the current state that they are in because they welcome immigration and use it to their advantage. We need to modernize and reach the level of the superpowers. I am of the same mind. It is proven that immigration helps countries to develop, and we cannot just support our current immigrants. We need a decision, but before we move on, Mr. President, do you have any question about the current state of immigration? What is the current legal status of immigrants? Currently, all accepted immigrants are given a work permit on arrival, so they can work and contribute to the economy of Sordland. There's currently no limit on the number of immigrants accepted, however the numbers remain stable over the past years. Despite the laws, the fact that many immigrants illegally work for corporations. That is the main issue with immigration right now, not the immigration itself. Nonsense. Enough for the unlimited amount of immigration, we wouldn't be in this state. How many immigrants live in Sordland? Official numbers show that we have anywhere between 2 to 3 million immigrants residing in Sordland. Even excluding the countless undocumented aliens in our midst, that is a very substantial amount. The primary issue is the strife that they cause with less fortunate Swordish citizens and themselves. Including them in the workforce would benefit everybody, including unemployed swords. More taxes mean more services. How do they usually arrive here? There are 3 major paths that they choose. The first is the Angland to Agnolia border. The second is the Bergia to Wayland border. And the third is the Lorraine coast. Agnolians are our largest group. It's a light border over there. Although recently, political fugitives from Vagland have been crossing into the Grey Sea by boat to land on our coast. Politically persecuted Vajnik refugees tend to use the dangerous mountain passes at the Wayland border. Many of them also have bluish blood. This significantly increase in the blood populace inside Bergia. Okay, let's move on and see what can be done about the immigration situation. Very well. David Vishki opens his dossier stamped with the seal of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Before I make any decisions, I have to remind you. During the election, we promised to keep our immigration laws relaxed, which I think is the right course of action. I disagree. We are supposed to control and reduce the negative impact of immigration, like crime and subversion. I see your point, Yosef, but the economy certainly benefits from more immigration. Internal order, on the other hand, suffers immensely. We should tighten the laws to prevent further chaos. David sighs wearily. This is going nowhere. What are the consequences if we keep our immigration policy relaxed? Aside from keeping us on a path of prosperity, modernity, and continuous improvement, not much. Our current system is good for our era. We also have the capacity. This will allow us to continue protecting investments from foreign countries, which in turn will keep our trade steady. We should be more trustworthy partners, and stability draws money. Stability? What stability? We're already seeing clashes between our people and foreign interlopers. On the contrary, the only way we can achieve stability is through tightening our immigration policy. You heard the lady. Sordland first. Okay, but what if we decide to tighten it? We would have to impose quotas and connected to that, stricter border controls. On top of that, allowing our economy to take a hit. Mr. Hole, surely the well-being of our citizens and our internal security will be more to compensate for any downturn in the markets. Agreed. Sordid citizens should take priority. Okay, I'm ready to make a decision. Everyone lean forward, eager to hear my response. I think we just keep them relaxed. It seems fine. I'm glad that you've made the right decision. We will be forced to handle new waves of migrants from Magnolia. Our border posts aren't ready. Not only that, we just abandon the native swords who need our support the most. This will also bring in a new tide of refugees from Wayland. Berkey is already a difficult region to manage. This is shameful. Citizens of Sordland aren't forgotten. Our work for them continues. And now they will compete with foreign immigrants just to put food on their tables. I'm disappointed in you, Rayne. Anything else? I know, just thank you for your contribution. I really don't got much else to say about that. The ministers gathered the document and rose from their chairs, some with frowns on their faces. I'm looking forward to the upcoming trade talks. Peter and I have been visiting Saladport and Verklovich in preparation. I'll be coming along to talk with the economy minister. Looking forward to the potential partnership. If we are finished, I need to head off to get the ministry ready for the work on the new policy. It's the old policy. It's the old policy. I've not changed anything. Okay, Red Youth Hideout raided. Vessord police have organized a raid early in the morning to the abandoned building in the city of Vessord, under suspicions of hiding Red Youth members inside. This also raid led to the arrest of 8 militants and confiscation of 2 military-grade assault rifles and bomb-making equipment. You know, get me back into Sordland, thank you. What's going on in Benfi? So you get the opening of the Benfi festival. Editors of Radical is suspected of helping terrorists. Source intelligence report that John Dandurn, a famous journalist and columnist at the Radical, is suspected to be working with a terrorist organization, Red Youth. According to the report, Dandurn has continuously published anti-government articles and repeatedly attempted to report on state secrets countless times. Moreover, he has publicly endorsed Red Youth in the past and promoted Malevist ideals. Okay. We got a couple of things going on outside of here. Bexon warns against Swordage privatization. Chancellor Heinrich Hegel has voiced his concerns over potential privatization measures being considered in Sordland. The Chancellor, a strong proponent of Vegslandian socialism, cautions against the dangers of unchecked capitalism, citing the risk of increasing wealth inequality and social instability. He expressed a desire for Sordland to consider a more equitable approach to economic development, perhaps taking views from Vegsland's own socialist policies. Hegel further stated that Vegsland will remain as supportive of Sordland as long as the well-being of its people is prioritized. And aside from that, we got some stuff going on from the Republic of Kairut. Chancellor Enos has publicly supported Sordland's sovereignty amid ongoing attempts by superpower alliances to exert influence. Kairut, maintaining its neutral stance, emphasizes the importance of independent decision-making for the Swordish nation and advocates for peace, stability, and autonomy in internal affairs. Thank you, by the way. Very, very happy to have you on side. Okay, what's going on in the news? Earlier today, Johann Gamich, one of the leaders of the Red Youth, was arrested on his way to Benfi. Police said that he was planning to escape Sordland with the help of a cargo ship from the port of Benfi to Ravenos Islands. Following his arrest, a group of militants fired at patrolling police officers in the city of Agland. After the incidents, which saw no deaths from either side, the city plunged into chaos with opportunistic looters flocking to the streets. Soon after, riots began in the largest neighborhoods of the city, which was stopped after the arrival of riot police to the scene. Okay, order, streamlined immigration, nationwide protests being quelled. We've got some relaxed immigration, that's fine. What do you got going on right here? Okay, Central Bank drafts economic recovery proposal. In an effort to mitigate economic damages, Household Central Bank is working on a new proposal. The plan comprises several measures, including the accumulation of foreign exchange reserves, the adoption of a cautious fiscal policy, and increased support for export-oriented industries. We'll probably read like one more main event and probably end the stream there. It's going to be a little bit of a short stream, but it is almost midnight. And again, we'll be streaming more tomorrow as well. A recent religious rally by the Golcondists turned into a political demonstration against Sordland and its constitution. The rally, which was initially intended to be a peaceful gathering, quickly escalated into a protest against what the Golcondists see as an unjust and evil government. The sect's leaders have been actively promoting these views for their followers, who have been receptive to their message. The government is also urged to monitor the activities of the Golcondists and take appropriate action to prevent further escalation of tensions and potential violence. Okay, and the Benfi Festival. This is what we told our wife that she could not speak at. I hope she still likes me. Our motorcade slowly made its way towards the magnificent Benfi High Art Center. Night was falling, and the festival was about to begin. I flipped through the brochure that we had been given on the way given to us at the hotel. On the front page, there was a face of Curtin Lest, Mayor of Enrica. He was a Benfi native who had a long-standing relationship with the city's current mayor, and had been personally invited to make tonight's opening speech. Benfi Festival is one of the biggest events of the year. It originally marked the beginning of the annual religious pilgrimage, a week-long journey that's still undertaken by devout Nurist. But today it's better known as a cultural celebration that drew thousands of revelers to the city. There were film screenings, concerts, theater and dance performances, art exhibitions, and celebrity-studded nightly galas. The opening ceremonies were broadcast on TV and watched by millions. As the car slowed, a coterie of reporters and security guards rushed to meet us. I turned my attention to Monica. Since I refused to let her make the opening speech, her attitude towards me had changed. She not only spoke to me if I asked her a question, or if there was something important concerning the children. Will you ever forgive me? I told you my reasons. I know, and I understand. It's just going to take me some time. She clearly did not want to pursue the topic any further. As soon as Sergei opened the door, we were enveloped by a roar from the crowd. The next few minutes were a blur of handshakes, photos, and reporters' questions. The onlookers cheered as we walked the red carpet to the newly built art center. We followed the guards through cavernous white halls until we came to a set of arched doors leading to the auditorium. We waited outside as security did a quick sweep of the area, then headed in. I've been asked to make a quick set of remarks introducing Curtin Lest, and I beckoned Monica to join me on the podium. I'm going to find my seat. She hates me, man. Monica brushed past me, took her seat in the front row, and crossed her arms. I walked alone to the podium. I spoke for just a minute, reading my paragraph my speechwriter had churned out about the importance of the festival and Benfi to Sordland. I concluded by inviting Curtin Lest, the mayor of Enrica, to the podium. I stepped down and joined Monica in the front row, her arms still folded. Welcome to the first day of the Benfi festival. He paused for a moment to let the crowd cheer, and his eyes briefly met mine. I nod. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to nod. This is a night for the people of Benfi. Indeed, for the people of Sordland, to put aside their differences and come together in celebration. Yet, as we unite for the festivities, we must remember the real reason that we are gathered here. The crowd fell silent. The people were giving their full attention for what he had to say. This festival was founded around the principles of our cherished religion, Nuriti. Yet, over the years, it has become severed from its sacred roots and become something else. Something more perverse. An excuse for public drunkenness and grotesque displays of the flesh. An occasion for young women to parade their bodies and engage in lascivious behavior. As we went on, I could see Monica become increasingly agitated. What the hell is he talking about? Lascivious behavior. What century does he think we live in? I don't like any of these responses. Don't say this. I don't know. Just let it be. Monica turned back to watching the speech, a frown on her face. Perversion hidden under the guise of arts is not befitting the beautiful city of... The crowd was becoming restless. Many of the younger attendees were murmuring in disagreement, while a few of the older ones were nodding vigorously. As I said, perversion hidden under the guise of art is not be enough. The hall fell silent. Monica rose and continued. Mr. Lest, it is not young women who are a disgrace to this fine festival, but you and your backwards, puritanical attitudes, which has long been holding this country back for too long. Go off, Queen, go off. I stayed in my seat and watched the events unfold. Monica turned to face the audience, speaking loud enough to be heard without a microphone. Women of Sordland, we must not let the people like Mr. Lest use religion justify to demean and oppress us. Our time has come. Shock gas ran through the crowd. A few people rose to applaud. Curtin Lest waited to speak. I think Mrs. Rayne has forgotten her place. What do you think my place is, Mr. Lest? The kitchen? This festival is not about your retrograde traditions. We're living in modern times now. It's 1954. It is not your place to decide how the people of Benfi, especially the women, should be celebrating their own festival. Do nothing. I kept watching in silence. I looked at the podium to see Curtin Lest's piercing gaze on me. There's surely the price paid for this. Mr. President, could you please control your wife before she embarrasses herself any further? You know what, Curtin? My wife is absolutely right. Monica looked at me, surprise registering on her face. Thank you, Anton. I turned to Curtin. Look, we've already burned the bridge is burned already at this point. Get your speech over with already. Or, you know what? Let's join our wife. Your task was to give an opening speech, not a moral lecture. I'll finish my speech if you allow it, Mr. President. You know what? Go on. How very generous of you. Benfi had always been a beacon of culture, tradition of religion, many battles, and then fought over this precious city. Army after army had tried to claim it for their own, but we fought back and won each time. We stand here to thanks to the strong men who are able to protect their families, their lands, and their way of living. Every day I praise God that we have succeeded so far. That applause broke out from the older members of the audience. I leaned over to Monica. Sounds more like a priest than a politician. I praise God he's only allowed to speak for another 2 minutes. Monica stifled a short laugh. Yet the traditions that form the very fabric of our society are being tested, even as I speak. You look pointedly at Monica. We must try to stay true to our values so that Sordland can prevail, so that Benfi can prevail. With these at the forefront, I am convinced that Sordland will continue to be the greatest nation in the world. I invite every single one of you to celebrate our roots and our traditions in this holy Benfi festival. I hereby declare this festival open. Praise God, praise Sordland, praise Benfi. A Morga West Core. Vector insists most of the people in the hall finished, the decades-old saying, including me. Monica's lip moved, but she didn't say the words out loud. He exited the stage as the band struck up the official festival anthem. I spent the rest of the evening alternating watching the festivities and conversing with local politicians. By the time we got back to the hotel, I was exhausted. But thanks to the festivities still raging around outside, and the sound of Monica tossing and turning beside me, I couldn't sleep at all. But I will say, I know this would be a little bit of a short stream. It's only been like an hour and a half. But it is, again, I don't know what it's good. The exposure on the camera is crazy. But I think it's going to be a good time for us to end for now, because it is almost midnight, my time. We will be live tomorrow. I don't know exactly when. Maybe like 6 p.m., give or take. And I'm not too sure exactly what we will be